And I believe that Narda is Fallujah. Is that the place where there's all these problems? Fallujah, where there's a Fallujah is like Plukta, and is like it's split in half because there's a river that runs through it. So there was a ferry that they would use to cross. So he was crossing the ferry. Amalei Lashami, he's told his servant, his assistant, Paisalam Abure, give a tip to the ferry, what do you call the sailor? The captain, the ferryman. So Paisevi Ikbid. He gave him something and Shmuel was upset. My time Ikbid, why was Shmuel upset about this? Amar Abaya says, because Tanagolis Treifa Haben, V'yovan Ale B'mar Deshchuta, that the assistant had a non-kosher bird, and he gave it to the ferryman thinking that it was kosher. In other words, the ferryman thinks that it's kosher. The ferryman thinks that, oh my gosh, he gave me such a big tip. Turned out it was really nothing.
And the ferryman wasn't Jewish.
The ferryman wasn't Jewish. This is like giving someone a fake Rolex.
Or $1 billion of Bolivian dollars.
I had that once, because when I lived in Surfside, there was a safe in the house that after many months, I was finally able to get the code from the company, because I said it's my house and there's a safe there and I don't have the code. So finally they sent it to me. I opened it up and inside there was like thousands of like Bolivian dollars or something. So I quickly checked it up. I told my friend, I said, there's all this money here. He says, the first thing is, don't tell anyone. Only your very best friends. I looked it up. It was worth like a cent or something. Okay. Rava Amar. Rava says, Anafka Amar Leila Shkuye. He told him to give him a drink of a cup of wine, Bashki Chamer Meziga, but he gave him diluted wine. Now, in those days, they had the wine was more concentrated. There's two ways of viewing this actually. What was going on back then? They used to definitely mix their wine with water. The question is why? Was the alcohol content higher, or was the fermentation much worse, and you would get sick if you drank it? So they would have to dilute it. Because really the grape content was probably not the sugar in the grapes. They measure it with bricks. The amount of sugar in the grapes is probably not higher than it is today. So it probably couldn't have been a higher alcohol content, but the fermentation was much worse, like the old beer that it was like you would get sick. So they would dilute it. So Shmuel said, give him the concentrated wine, and he gave him the diluted wine. And he gave it to him in a way thinking that he just says, oh, he has all this concentrated wine. And really, it was diluted already. The Gemara says, why did you make such a big deal about this then? Shmuel never said it clearly. We only inferred it from something. So what? It's pretty clear that Shmuel holds you're not allowed to fool the person. So it says, Lamanda Amar Treifa, according to the opinion that says that it was a Treifa, Amrlei, he was upset for a different reason. He was upset for his assistant, Amai Tishi Surah. Why were you holding on to forbidden meat for so long? That's risky business. Don't keep it in your house. Someone may put it in the pot, in the cholent. You can't leave it around. By the way, someone told me they got there used to be Publix Direct. They would send to you. They had a special they were a promotional item, and they put in some meat as a promotional item in the bags. And he never took the groceries. The maid put the groceries in the fridge. He takes out a piece of meat to put in the cholent, and it was a Publix piece of meat from the promotional. So you have to mamish check. So you can't leave things around. You have to look it over. Lamanda Amar Anpika Amar Leila Shkuye. According to the opinion that says that Shmuel told him to give the concentrated wine, Anpika Chaya Mashma. He was just upset that he didn't listen to him. That expression is supposed to mean undiluted, and he just was upset with him, not because he fooled the ferry captain, but because he didn't follow the instructions. So really, we don't really know that Shmuel holds this, because it was only inferred for Tanya. Start in a brisa. Hayir Rab Meir Eimer. Rabbi Meir says, "Al yisrav adam lachaver listed etzlei." You shouldn't overpressure someone to eat by you, but yediyah b'shein asayid, and you know that he's not going to come eat by you, because you know that he's not going to. You're just creating. It's a fake invitation, and you're making him indebted to you, and you never really wanted to do that. V'leyarbelei b'takruvos. You shouldn't increase gifts. The idea by Shena Makabel, you know that he's not going to accept it. This happens. You go to someone's house and they open a very fine bottle of wine, and there's only you there. You're the only one there. So he's opened the whole bottle just for you to have like this much wine. So you feel like terribly indebted, like you opened the whole thing. Really, that wine, he has a party that night or something, and he's using it for something else. So meanwhile, you feel you owe him this. So you do it all. In this case, the barrel was sold to the storekeeper. Someone comes to the house. You say, don't worry, for you I'm going to open the whole barrel, don't worry. Meanwhile, you've already sold it to the storekeeper. Meanwhile, he's indebted to you for opening the barrel, and meanwhile, it already has a use. So in other words, you fooled him into his indebtedness. This I don't understand what the issue is. Don't tell him to anoint with oil and the jug is empty. I'm not sure what the issue is. I guess a similar issue. I'm not sure exactly. But if it's because you're trying to honor him, so then it's permissible. Einy, is it really so that this is a problem? Ula, here's Ula, he's the traveler. He comes to Rabbi Yehuda's house. There's Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda was a student of Rav and Shmuel. And he opened up barrels that were already sold to the storekeeper. The Gemara says, that's not a problem. He told him that I'm opening the barrel now. I've sold it to the storekeeper who's going to sell it immediately. But he wasn't fooling him into thinking that I'm opening it just for you, and meanwhile he already had it sold.
He says over here on the oil that you put some of the oil on yourself to benefit from it, and you offer to him knowing that he's not going to use the oil and pick up and realize it's an empty jug.
Oh, so it's a fake offer. Yeah. Okay, Shekayach. The Iba Yasema, we have another teretz. Shani Ula the Chavali Rabbi Yehuda the Balav Hachinam Psuchim Meftachle. This is a nice piece of information that Rabbi Yehuda treasured Ula's coming, that he would have opened the wine anyway. It happened to be that this one he had sold to the Chenveni, but that he would have opened it anyway. My card.
It was there. I just saw it. The Rabbi Eily Smith card?
Yeah.
You probably turned the page on it.
Okay. And I just want to mark this
There it
down.
is. There.
See, that's why it's good to give up.
Then you find.
Like the historical pieces. Taner Rabbanan.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If you're not allowed to deceive a guy, but if you've already sold him these barrels, and before he's taken delivery of the barrels, you're already giving out a cup to somebody else, aren't you like taking the barrels that this guy's already agreed to buy, and you're taking the merchandise
Right,
away, you're making
right.
it lighter before you give it to him?
Right. I'm assuming that he's selling it for you possibly on consignment, that you've already arranged that. So it's not that he's going to lose out. The storekeeper agreed to sell this wine, so you have a way of getting rid of the rest of it.
Yeah, but
And
you're skimming off a cup before you give him the barrel.
Yeah, I understand.
He says, I'll buy
but
the
he's going to
barrel.
give you money for each cup that he sells.
Oh.
That's what I'm assuming.
He's not buying the barrel.
Right. Or else we would have other issues. Taner Rabbanan. Start in a brisa. This is an interesting expression. When you go to a mourner's house, people bring food. So don't bring a lugin hamiskashkish. a jug that makes noise because it's not full. So, he thinks you go in and you put it down on the table, and he doesn't know the guest or who's drinking or this and that, but he thinks you brought a full bottle and really you didn't. And then he owes you, or he feels indebted. Don't fill it.
When you feel like Johnny Walker blew up with like black.
So is that a problem? The people don't know the difference anyway. At least, if you serve it after the first two drinks, no one knows the difference. So.
Not true.
Really?
Yeah, I went from high grade to low grade one time on Simcha Store, and you can tell.
Oh, okay. So then, for a different crowd that can't tell,
Yeah, they have to be.
Is there a problem? Is there a problem? He now feels that he owes you. Okay. However, if there's a big crowd and you want to show how much you honor this person, then that's allowed. Don't sell someone a shoe that's made from animals that died, and the person thinks that it was made from animals that were shechted. There's two issues here. First one, the leather's not going to be as good. And because it could be harder to die from a snake bite. There's poison in this leather. He's going to wear it. That could be irritating or something. You can't send to your friend a barrel of wine with oil on the top. And the issue is, the story, someone sent his friend a barrel of wine with and there was oil on the top. Now, a simple way of understanding this Gemara, without the commentary, is that you would dip your bread in the oil. So he thinks he has a lot of oil. Mediterranean diet, there's the bread and the olive oil. He thinks he has loads of oil. So they came in, and once they get off the top, once they finish the top of this, they realize it's not oil. Now he's very embarrassed. And he's hung himself out of embarrassment. The commentaries learn this a little different. They say, what? To eat plain oil? No one does that. You have to cook something. You can't just... So they said it's exactly the opposite. The guy came and told him, here's a barrel of wine. And he invites his friends to have wine. He opens up the barrel, and there's oil on the top. And he's so embarrassed that he has nothing to serve, no wine to serve them. It's just oil. No one's drinking olive oil. Right. So he strangled himself in embarrassment. Okay.
Whoa.
Ve'ina archim, that's the Teres Chaim. The commentary learns it like the opposite. Ve'ina archim rashayin liten limima shalifneim livnei levita shal balabayas. Guests are not allowed to give to the children of the house food. Elam kenat l'rishus mi balabayas, unless they take permission from the owner. So in other words, a guest is sitting at the table, the little children of the host are there, you can't take food from your plate and feed it to them. There's a story. Someone invited 3 guests in a hunger time. The only thing that he had to serve to the guests is 3 eggs. The son of the host came, and the guests are going to be gracious. They're going to be generous to the son of the host. And Natal echad me'am chelka v'nasnalai. One of the guests gave his egg. I assume he thinks more food is coming. And he gives it to the child. B'chein sheni.
I want to show you this.
How the salad.
In 1963, there was a great scandal in the United States, very great scandal, where someone put oil in barrels on top of water. And it fooled the auditors. It almost brought down the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
Wow.
Doing exactly this. I never knew. Maybe he learned.
Wow.
In other words, they were supposed to be oil barrels, but they were faked, filled with water, and the oil floated on top. So, and people sent in auditors, and the auditors opened up the barrels, dipped their fingers in, and it came out oil. So they said, "This is real."
Wow.
famous story. Jeff the Old like me to be aware of it.
63?
There are
But
books-
that's before the Mustang came out.
There
That
was-
was 64 and a half was the Mustang. I don't go back before that.
and there were books
In my
written about
memories.
this.
What was it called? What was the scandal called?
The oil, the salad oil swindle.
It was salad oil. It wasn't
No.
car oil. Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah,
salad.
it's famous.
salad
There's
oil.
books on this.
Yeah. The name of the book is Oil's Well
the
That Ends
great
Well.
salad oil scandal.
The Great Salad Oil Scandal of 1963.
Okay. So v'chein
Caesar
sheni.
will never be the same.
The second guest
Okay.
did the same thing. V'chein shlishi, the third guest did the same thing. So that means they gave their eggs to the child. But of it,
Children.
I don't know, child apparently. But of Shaltinik, the father of the child came. Matzah shel Isaac echad b'piv. He has one in his mouth. V'shtayim b'yadei, has two in his hands. And chavte b'karka, he hit him to the ground. Hit the child. Umes, the child died. Kivin shurasa imai, the mother sees what just happened. Child died. Also legag v'naflo mesa. She went up to the roof. She also fell and died. Afu alo legag v'naflo mes. The husband sees what just happened. He went up to the roof and fell and died. It says v'naflo mes. I think it means they jumped. I think that's the. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says al davar zeh neged gimel nefashos miYisrael. Because of this, 3 people died.
People were very intense back then about guests and food.
My Kamash Malan, what is it coming to teach us? That we just said the story. What are you saying? Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. The Kula Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. That everything that we said here about not giving was all a statement of Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. I don't want to end on a bad note. So Tana Rabbanan Shaleach Yerech Lachaver Shlema. If you send a thigh to your friend, you don't have to take out the Gidanasha. However, if it's cut, you do have to take it out if you cut it up. And then we'll continue after.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So what was the lesson about jumping off the roof?
You can't hear a child.
You're a guest.
You're a guest. You can't give food to the child of the host.
Because you think that.
No, you guys. Now you're one of us.
They did it well intentioned.
They did well intentioned, but you're really not allowed to do it.
Took a long
Because you really don't know how much more the host is going to serve, and you're maybe going to end up embarrassing the host.
The make
There's nothing more than
Yeah.
They gave it, they called it in the